Emma, Ray, and the other Gracefield children begin their journey to find a safe place to live upon further examination of the pen. Shows everyone the hidden Morse code. Upon pressing the screen, Yelda enters the password needed for the screen that displays a note left by Minerva guiding them to the location they need to head to. Everyone says it's thanks to Norman leaving them the pen that they'll be able to head to their safe haven. Meanwhile, demons who were sent out to track down Gracefield's missing livestock are on the lookout for the children. As the night carries on, the children continue to make their way until they're stopped in their tracks by a wild demon who chases them throughout the forest. Don and Gilda make the signal for their groups to split into two, while Emma and Ray run behind the group. The wild demon is caught on an arching tree branch, striking it and confusing it for a short amount of time as the trio catches their breath. After escaping from the monster, they stumble upon a trap called the Snakes of Valipura, where falling into them means never getting back out. Ray then decides to make it his goal to get the demon to follow him.
どうだ、こいつ食っていません。人間の匂いがしない。
遅かったな。みんな死んじまったよ。
やはり81194特上だ。捕らえろ。
ねえ、レイ遅くない？何か
Where he'll trap it in the vines. Ray then begins his plan by getting the monster to chase him. However, his plan is cut short by the hunters looking for him. Knowing he'll only be captured, Ray decides to trick the hunters by telling them they're all dead, except for him, and distract them. Shortly after, a call and whistle are made from the pursuers, signaling that a child has been found. Emma then explained that she'll check out the situation and that everyone should continue to head downwind. However, as she heads off, she suddenly collapses due to the wound on her ear, opening up once more. Just as he examines her, someone in the distance leads them to safety. During this, Ray continues his escape from the pursuers. Eventually, he's cornered and collapses on the ground. Just as he's about to be taken in, he's suddenly lifted up and taken away by someone. Ray later awakens next to a lantern in a soft makeshift bed. Taking the lantern from beside him, he wanders until he finds Emma sleeping in a room nearby and goes to wake her up. She awakens, happy to see Ray again. Ray has explained what happened with Emma and the group. They discuss the possibility of being rescued by a nervous group. Suddenly, the masked woman from before comes to check on Emma and is relieved to see her up and awake as she takes them to eat dinner with them. Ray makes the shocking discovery that the man and woman who saved them are actually demons and that they don't even know who Minerva is. Emma and Ray confront the two now known demons as to what they did with their siblings, leading Emma to think Mujika cooked and prepared them for dinner. Without giving anything away, Mujika simply tells her nothing as Sonju makes room for her to run away. Ray follows after her. Sonju and Mujika shortly enter and apologize to Emma for not telling her much. In response, she apologizes as well, thanking them for saving the rest of the children. Once everyone but the three are asleep, Emma and Ray ask their questions. They ask why they aren't eating them. Sandra replies back with his religion and its dietary restrictions. They then ask what had happened to humans 30 years ago based on assumptions from books they found in Minerva's name. Sandra was quick to tell them that humans haven't been free in this world in 1,000 years and have only been livestock ever since 1,000 years ago a deal was made between demons and humans due to an ongoing war between them. Demons originally hunted humans for food, and in response, the humans began fighting back. More demons were killed and eaten than humans. Due to the amount of fear and hatred between the groups, the humans promised to no longer hunt demons. No longer a human to keep the deal in order, humans gave the demons other humans to purposefully breed and use as livestock. Since then, the human world and demon world have been kept apart. and the livestock children were stuck in the demon world. Later on, Sonju gives the children directions as to where they want to go and explains it'll take 6 days total. Throughout the course of the 6 days of traveling, the children are taught about herbs by Mujika and harvesting food and materials by Sonju, as well as mapping and using weapons like bows and arrows. 6 days passed away, and they could finally go in the shelter. Before Emma left, Mujika gave the amulet to Emma, saying that it would protect her if she held it. And after that, Emma said goodbye to them. They finally found the entrance and went to the shelter. Emma opened the door, but no one was there. But Mr. Minerva left a letter saying the shelter is for the children. Ray found a radio in the Monia room. With this radio, they can learn about what's going on in the house. Then Emma, Ray, Don, Gilda, Anna, and Nat went outside to play the radio, and the radio said everything was normal. At the Plant 1 and Plant 4, Emma, Ray, Don, and Alicia went on a secret room, and they heard the phone ringing. Emma answered the phone, and the one who was calling is William Minerva, but her hopes are somewhat dampened by Ray, who explains it to be a recording, and plays the recording. Minerva explains that he did this because he saw countless children being sacrificed to demons and couldn't bear it any longer, thus starting a shelter behind their backs for children who became aware of what was really happening. He leaves the rest of the kids and leaves a map in the pen titled Future should they ever want to go to the human side of the world, and the recording ends suddenly. An explosion is heard down in the power of the shelter, knocking the 2 late night shifters unconscious. 2 men barge in with guns and scout the place looking for the kids. Unknown to them, they escaped and hid in the caves. The group runs to escape their captors, only for them to drop in from holes above Emma and Ray, push one of them down, and escape through another route. Once on the surface, they gather the kids and order them to run into the forest. However, the forest is blocked by a group of armed soldiers who have all the kids at gunpoint and are ready to pull the trigger, unbeknownst to them. The demon the kids encountered a couple of days ago was roaming around the area and then killed all the soldiers. Ray shoots it in one of the eyes, leaving it writhing in pain. The demon, enraged, chases the kids once more as they all split up into the darkness of the forest. Back at the prison, one of the demons held a flower of death and was planning to use it on Isabella. After a heated debate with his bosses, due to the variety of options they had on her, he decides to make a deal with her. He'll give her freedom and something desirable if she manages to bring back all the children, alive or dead. After the attack on the shelter, a group of kids disguised as demons make their way into a nearby town under the guise of business. They discover that most of the populace is bitter and poor due to the nobility taking almost all the human meat in an abandoned temple not far from town. The kids live in a temporary residence while Emma and Ray figure out what to do after the attack. The next day, Toma and one of the kids reveal their demon costumes to the group and beg Emma to take them with her into town. Emma rejects initially, but gives in when Don decides to take them anyway. Suddenly, an old demon emerges from the shadows, not able to recognize the children due to blindness, and believing they are demonic children who are passing through. He begins to pray for his kind and wishes for everything to turn out better for them, wishing for the town to prosper again. He leaves, and in the town slums, 2 demons look at their relatives' deteriorating conditions and worry they won't survive the next couple of days. One of them believes that the kids that escaped from Grace Field are still at large and might possibly be in town. And if they catch them and feed them alive, their relatives will survive and be cured of their sickness. Back in the forest, Tomas showed the group his slingshot method of catching the gooey fish. Once they're done, they decide to trick Emma into going into town to get some seasoning there. However, once in the market, the 2 bump into the same demons who were searching for them by accident. At first apologizing for this encounter, the demons start to smell human meat and believe that they were carrying some, but find fish instead. In a panic, the 2 run, and the demons give chase all across town. Emma and Ray walk from the rooftops before they were faced by another group of demons. As soon as both groups lost their pursuers, they jumped back down and tried to navigate back to the temple, only for the original 2 demons to find them. And then another group of demons holds Emma and Ray at sword point. While the former group tries to dissuade the latter from killing their quarry, they do not notice another demon appearing behind them and slicing them in half, surprising Emma and Ray. While expecting their deaths, he says Emma's name and declares that he found them, and they discovered to their shock and horror that the demon behind the mask is Norman back at the ruins. Ron, Gilda, and the others are all shocked at seeing Norman in front of them. Norman explains that he was taken to a lab called Lambda instead of just being sacrificed. He witnessed children being drugged, experimented, and mutated on himself, being tested a few times. He was able to escape with a supporter of Minerva's help. Sometime later, he was able to develop a drug that degenerates demons and returns them to a primal state. Recalling Emma's goal, he began mass production of the drum to make them primal, exterminate the demons altogether, and build a human world for themselves so they wouldn't live in fear anymore.
Take you